I try to keep our home simplified, organized, and clutter-free, and I've found the best way to do that is with a weekly reset. So today, join me for a reset of our home, and I hope this can inspire you to reset your home along with me. About a week ago, we finished a project that we had been working on, and that was painting and adding a mantle to our fireplace. And I also made a cozy nook with some chairs. I can link that video down below. But when I added a lamp, I really loved the feel and decided I wanted to add a lamp in our other main living room. So when my mom and I were at Lamps Plus, we decided to purchase this lamp as well. And I just love how nice this lamp looks at such an affordable price because I had been on the hunt for something for a really long time. We moved into this house in 2019, and I'm one of those people who likes to collect furniture and things over time, so I can really decide how I want our home to feel and where things should go. So I'm always switching things around. I also find it really fun to refresh different areas in our home by just moving around the furniture that we already have and cleaning things up, tidying it, and organizing it. It's such a fun process, and it helps to make our home feel refreshed. I'm so excited that we finally have a lamp in here because whenever we want to watch TV, I don't really like sitting in the complete pitch dark, and the only light we have in here is this overhead light, which really bothers your eyes if you're trying to watch the TV. So I think it'll be nice to have this low light when we're sitting in here hanging out, even if we're not watching TV, just to have a nice warm glow that isn't an overhead light. Not too long ago, we had a kids party, and I have these covers for these chairs that I bought a while back, and it's nice to be able to throw these covers on the chairs when I know we're gonna have a whole bunch of kids here. And previously we had the chairs where we had to climb over the gate, and that was why I had these covers on here. But now that we've moved them and they're not a place where people have to climb over, kids have to climb over, we don't really need these covers on here anymore. It is now freezing here in the mornings and in the middle of the night. So I'm back to wanting to use my thick winter blanket and the duvet cover. So I'm gonna switch that out, refresh this room a little. And it's weird because where we live in California, it's still really hot during the middle of the day, like into the 80s. But in the morning, it's 40 degrees. I've taken pictures twice and sent it to my mom that where we are, even where she is just a few miles away, it's a little bit warmer. She's up a hill, and here it is 40 in the morning. It's so cold for us. I know I'll get all kinds of comments saying that that's not cold at all because, of course, there are colder places in the world and in the United States. But for us here in Southern California, it's very cold. And also, we live in a home that is not insulated very well. So it really is freezing when we wake up in the morning. And I try not to run the heater too often because I feel it's better just to snuggle up with warm blankets and have the cool air rather than have the hot, dry heater blowing in our faces all night. So I'm just putting away this thinner blanket for when summer comes around next year or when it warms up a little bit more. And we've already been reaping the benefits of having that warm blanket. It's so cozy and I love the look of it. That's why I kept it for wintertime. Plus it's fun to switch things around once in a while and give a refreshed new look to a space. Today's video is sponsored by EarthBreeze. EarthBreeze got rid of everything wrong with old-fashioned laundry detergent. It's better for the planet and so much easier to use. No more heavy, wasteful plastic jugs. Did you know that 91% of jugs don't even get recycled and end up in the landfills? 700 million detergent jugs enter landfills and oceans every year from the USA alone. I have been using EarthBreeze for about a year now, and their powerful eco sheets look like dryer sheets, but they're not. It's revolutionary liquidless laundry detergent that dissolves 100% in hot or cold water. Their flexible subscriptions can be self-managed so you can adjust, pause, or cancel anytime without any hidden fees or extras. 100% satisfaction guaranteed or your money back, no questions asked, and no return necessary. Most importantly, EarthBreeze is tough on stains and removes odor so you still get a powerful clean every time. There's no reason not to switch. Go to earthbreeze.com/Shannon Torrens to get started with 40% off. That's earthbreeze.com/Shannon Torrens for 40% off your subscription, and you can get started today. Thank you to EarthBreeze for sponsoring today's video. Now, I just went through all of my boys' clothes, and we had to get some new things because they've grown out of so many of their winter clothes. And I'm not really saving clothes, passing them down anymore. That's one thing that I stopped doing when we just decided to simplify things, because by the time my boys have gone through their clothes, they're really worn out, and I was saving things, and by the time I got around to opening the box for the next kid, it was just, I would look at the item and think, why did I save that? It was so worn out. See, look how stained that is. Like, he'll continue to wear this until he grows out of it, but why would I save this to hand down to anyone? It's just not worth it. So we just keep a very minimal wardrobe for the boys, and when they grow out, then that's it. A few months ago, I tried the Minimal Mom daily laundry routine, and I really loved it, but we've gone to relaxing that a little bit. I do a load almost every day. Sometimes I do two, and sometimes I don't do any. I really need to go through this room and reset it with my boys at some point and see what they'd be willing to let go of, because I do feel we're getting quite a lot of stuff in this room where it's getting a little bit crowded, and I just want to stay on top of that. Now that they're older, they definitely have more stuff than they did when they were little, and that's just because I say, if you want to, take care of it, it's your room, and we're gonna keep it as organized as possible, and when we get too much stuff, we have to go through it. Like, I feel like maybe this could go, or maybe it could go to Levi, I'm not sure, but it's just looking a little bit too crowded in here for my liking. And some of the time I fold their laundry and put it away, and sometimes they do. So it just depends on what's going on. Right now they're not home, and I just want to get this done so I can move on with my life and do some baking and things like that. Also, pretty soon we are going to do the closet in here. There's some extra space on this wall that we will knock out and make it into a larger closet with probably built-in drawers. And right now my boys have all of their clothes in this one dresser, and the older they get, the bigger their clothes are getting, and there's just not a lot of room. Even with a very minimal wardrobe, there's just not a ton of space in here. I also want to mention that I got this laundry bag off of Amazon. It was very affordable. I can link it down below. This was one of the best purchases I've made in a long time. Before, we had a laundry basket that was just always in the way, and I don't know why, but for some reason the clothes never seemed to make it into the basket. Then we tried having our boys put their laundry into the one basket with all of our laundry, and because it was so far for them to walk, the laundry never made it in there. Like, half the time it was in there, half the time it's just on their floor here, and all I have to do is grab this bag, take it to the washing machine, dump it out. Oh my goodness, it saves me so much time. About a week ago or so, I came across a video that was called something like Frugal Tips from the Great Depression era. And one of the tips was to make your own bread at home because it saves so much money. And I really want to get into the habit of making a loaf of bread at least once or twice a week. I sometimes get into that habit and then I fall out of it, but it's always so delicious to eat freshly baked bread. So I have a bread machine, of course, and I'm just trying to get back into the habit of making bread more often. My kids love it when there's fresh bread to come home to, and that's just a fun snack for them to have when it's warm right out of the machine. And then I'm also trying to get into the habit of just making more treats and things fresh from our home. Okay, I think it was in my last reset video that I decluttered a bunch of Levi's clothes, and then I went online. That was the easiest way to do it, and I picked out, I think, 3 long sleeve shirts and a few pairs of long pants, and I just picked literally the most inexpensive option. I think they were maybe $5 each from Target. And I really like to just get the nondescript solid color shirts because that way they go through them so fast. I personally just don't like to get designer expensive things. And we are all good. And that is one thing that I love about being slightly more minimal and decluttering is then I know exactly what we have and we only have what we need for the season that we're currently in. Looks delicious. If you make fresh bread from home, let me know how often you normally do this. I heard that making it daily is the best way because we do go through it almost immediately. This loaf only lasted one day. Everyone was so excited. They wanted to eat it fresh when it was warm. And then by the next day, my husband took a sandwich to work and the loaf was gone. So I could probably make a fresh loaf every single day if I really became determined about it and had the time. But it's just such a treat and I really want to get into that habit. Now I'm baking some banana bread. Every time the bananas start to go bad, I try to make a loaf of banana bread just to have less waste, and it's just such a delicious, somewhat nutritious snack. Part of my weekly reset is usually to try to use up all the food, like the bananas that are starting to go bad, and make meals with those items so I'm not wasting any food if possible. And then I usually go grocery shopping. I had just been grocery shopping and my mom had brought some stuff over because we were planning a birthday party for my dad. So we were pretty stocked up. I didn't really need to go shopping and add any more at this one moment in this week. But I wanted to use up all this food before it started to go bad because I hate wasting food. And I'm putting away the bread maker for now because I'm probably not going to have time to make bread the next day. But if I did, I would just continue to leave it out. Part of my nightly routine is to clean up the kitchen floor because usually it's covered in crumbs by the end of the day. Now moving on to more of a seasonal reset, I am in my bedroom going through my closet and looking at what could be switched around and what I'm no longer going to be wearing and what I need to bring down out of the top part of my closet. I've had a few people comment in the past that they can't believe that I put shoes above my clothes, but honestly, if you're using a box like this, you can easily pull it down, put your shoes in there, seal it up, and then put it back up there. So really there's no kind of dirt or debris getting on my clothes in any way. Also, I make sure my shoes are clean before I put them away. Yeah, so I just love these containers. I have had these for a really long time. They're from IKEA. I don't have any kind of link or anything, but you can find them there. They still sell them. I'm also switching around my wardrobe a little bit. I've taken all the tank tops out and put them into one of my lower drawers that I don't get into while I'm in the fall and winter. And I took some of the winter clothes out and hung them up. I did want to mention that I did add a few things to my wardrobe. I had been doing so much decluttering throughout the last year and a half, and I did want to add in a few sweaters that fit me good now and are kind of an updated style for me. And I went to the thrift store and I found quite a few good options. This is just a zip up brown sweater. You might have seen me wearing this green one. And then I found this blue one. And the great thing about these is I can put them over dresses or a t-shirt that I would normally wear throughout the year and just layer up. And I love that I found these at the secondhand store. I also found 2 pairs of jeans. The other ones are in the wash, but I was excited to find some jeans at a really discounted price secondhand. And I was looking initially online and I actually didn't see anything I liked. So I was really happy to find these. So this is what I have right now. And I do still have a few, you know, transitional things like my dresses that I like to wear around the house, and I could just add a sweater over that for the colder days, maybe tights underneath or some stretch pants. Eventually I won't probably be wearing these through winter because they're extremely thin material. They're really designed for summer and spring. So these will probably just get pushed to the side instead of taken out of my closet, and then I'll just have the dresses that are a little bit warmer. As I was putting the towels away, I realized that I could spend a few moments here just organizing this area really quickly. We do not have a lot of towels. We use about 2 per person, and this is where the boys' towels are stored. We do have more swimming towels. That's because my boys are on the swim team and we use them all the time. I decided to roll these so my boys could easily pull them out without all the other towels falling down to the ground. I did decide to declutter one of the towels and then just simplify this upper area and put the tissues with where we're normally storing the tissues. I don't know why this box got put in here, but just a few moments has really made this area so much neater. From the towel closet, I turned the corner into my boys' room, and oh my goodness, I'm so glad I came in here because they're at school and that's the best time for me to do a little deep dive into things that could be decluttered. I decided to tackle this bookshelf. I noticed that we did not have enough room on the shelf. There were a lot of books on the floor. We had a separate basket full of books. So I decided to go through and pick out the ones that I know they do not need anymore. Maybe they've grown out of them, and just tidy it up, clean a little bit, and get all the books to fit on the shelves. I do this every once in a while and it makes such a difference. All these books are gonna go, and most of them came from the little library and the actual library that was just giving away books. I know the boys have got their use out of these, and then I was gonna put them in a bag, but then I realized I think I don't really need this basket either, so I'm just gonna donate all of this and the basket as well. One of the reasons why I am confident to get rid of books is because we use the library all the time. We use the school library and we use the public library. I noticed the top of the bookshelf was getting extremely cluttered as well, and so I took some stuff down, cleaned it up. My boys, when they got home, said it was okay to hang this art here. I know it's looking a little cluttered, but they love to have the art. My mom painted that picture. And then of course in the background, I'm always still doing other things like continuing on with the laundry. I did get an anti-fatigue mat for my kitchen sink, as a lot of you recommended in the comments, and I just had to wipe it down. I do take it away from the kitchen when we have people over so no one trips over it, but it does help a lot with my back when I'm doing the dishes. And then I decided to jump back into the boys' room, even though they were home now, and they could help me decide on what could stay and what could go. They were actually cleaning a different part of the room while I was doing this, and we all worked together to get this project done. As my kids have been growing up and I still want to stay clutter-free, I find it easier to go through one little section at a time. For instance, that bookshelf, it's easier to go through just that and then move on to a different section at another time. Here is an area where we have some extra craft supplies and some empty bins for when I need to organize things, but I decided to jump into this and just see what could possibly be decluttered. We haven't used these books for years, so I'm finally gonna let them go. I just want to mention, as I'm doing these reset routines, I also have my normal life going on in the background. So making dinner, doing homework with kids, and all of that sort of stuff is also happening. So I have to fit these little reset things into the rest of my life as it's happening. But here I am just putting the kitchen to bed, as a lot of people say, and that's just doing all the dishes, tidying everything up, and I really like to try to do this every single night if possible, because it feels great to wake up to a clean kitchen where we can easily make breakfast and lunches, and we're more productive to get out the door and get to school on time. Each of the decluttering and organizing projects that I shared with you today in this reset took me less than 10 minutes. I was very surprised to see that, and it's just such an eye-opener to realize that it doesn't take that much time to keep our homes organized and clutter-free if we take the time to do it. I love doing these weekly resets because it makes our home feel refreshed and organized and keeps us on track. If you're new here, please hit the subscribe button. I would love for you to join our community here, and you'll be seeing a lot of upcoming before and after videos as we're continuing to work on our home, stay clutter-free, and hopefully inspire you to live a simplified life. I'll see you in the next video. Bye!